The digital world has been rapidly evolving over the past couple of years with the heightened presence of generative AI, and people find themselves having to be more careful online than ever before. In this video, I will be looking at how people of different ages view digital literacy and discussing how people experience the digital world. According to the Introduction of Writing for Digital Media, digital literacy is defined as the ability to engage with digital spaces in meaningful, productive, and ethical ways to achieve personal, professional, or civic goals. In my own online experience, I often find myself using digital literacy all the time, especially if I'm encountering something like a parody account or satirical information or memes on certain social media apps. Similarly, Chrissy, a 42-year-old from Butler, Indiana, uses literacy to cross-check websites when she is faced with suspicious online information. In America is facing a literacy crisis. Babs says there is no literacy crisis. The youngest participant in my dataset, Julie, a 13-year-old from Butler, Indiana, reflects this idea in the data she provided. She knows not to trust everything she sees on the internet, and she's able to identify false information when she encounters it. According to About Writing and Digital Technologies, the digital space has two different kinds of users. Digital natives, who are familiar and proficient with technologies. This often falls in the category of younger people. And then digital immigrants, who are often not familiar or proficient with current technology and often struggle using it. And this category usually tends to fall more with older people. One of the participants, Julie, reflects this concept perfectly, as she is very proficient with technology, as opposed to another participant, Chrissy. Chrissy is considered a digital immigrant. However, she does not struggle very much within online spaces. She just uses technology less than a digital native like Julie does. Both me and my participant, Julie, are considered digital natives because of our younger status. I think this connects to how often we find ourselves on our phone throughout the day. For example, the amount of pickups I have in my Apple Analytics range from 80 to 120 per day, depending on the week, while Julie's ranges from 100 to 200. She is 13, so she has more time to be on her phone than a college student. Now, these numbers seem very high in comparison to a digital immigrant, such as my participant, Chrissy, who found herself picking up her phone 10 or 15 times a day, according to her Apple Analytics. So she is not on her phone very much. Her average screen time on a typical day is only 2 hours, as opposed to mine and Julie's. Julie's was 5 hours per day, and mine averages about 10 hours a day. That's across all devices as well, so not just my personal phone, but also my school laptop and any other device I use. One of the patterns I noticed in my data set was that both of my participants mentioned how skeptical they are of AI-generated information online. Both participants were very confident while using online applications, and these participants seem to be very well versed in digital literacy and are able to cross-reference different websites to determine if information they see online is factual or not. I can relate to these online practices because it is difficult to take what you see online at face value these days. I have very similar everyday app uses as Chrissy and Julie. The apps that I find myself on the most throughout the day are Apple Music, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. One of my participants, Julie, also noted that her most used apps are just the text message app, Spotify, and TikTok. And then Chrissy, the older participant, said the applications they use most are Facebook, TikTok, and Google. So TikTok all over lines. I feel like lots of people, no matter their age now, are using TikTok. Something that's really popular right now are AI-generated photos. And the apps that most commonly these are on are Instagram and TikTok. I think since all three of us use TikTok and we are exposed to that AI-generated information so much now, we have a better eye to recognize when something is AI generated. Some things to look out for AI generated information are if it's a person, the number of fingers they have. Sometimes you can tell by just if the proportions don't look right, or if it's a group, somebody's hand could fully be chopped off. AI is getting more intelligent, but that's only because it's taking from art that humanity has made, which is why it's so problematic, because these artists that it's stealing from don't get recognition. One of the apps that I find myself finding the most false information or satirical information the most is X, formerly known as Twitter. There are a lot of pop culture update accounts on it, and they have parody accounts. The most notable one that I can think of is the real accounts are Pop Base and Pop Crave, and there's always like fake parody accounts like Pob Base, and they just post stuff that isn't true at all, and they try to gain traction because it's spelled really similarly. I was really happy to hear that both of my participants and myself look for AI generated information online, because there is a lot of it, especially with the fact that anybody can generate anything now. I had a really good time tracking my online information. Now every time I open my phone, I think about what I'm doing more, and I think more about the information I see online. I'll include a PDF version, but my works cited include Digital Natives and Digital Immigrants from Bad Ideas About Writing, America is Facing a Literacy Crisis from Bad Ideas About Writing, and the introduction from Writing for Digital Media. Thank you very much.